Alright everyone, as always, I apologize if I'm a little bit loud at the moment because I'm closer to the microphone that's been calibrated for sitting further away. Although that might help with some people. Some people claim that there are audio problems every time I make a video. So I've got my co-host here. Very, very important. I think I'm the co-host at this point, you know. There's definitely a master and servant style relationship. First and foremost, before we get into the subject of the video, there will be a pinned comment if you're watching on YouTube with links to 4 other video hosting sites that I use, and you can join me on one or more of them. I make now 2 videos every single day that are just on sites other than YouTube, and I'm doing that because YouTube continues to abuse me algorithmically. It's doing this to basically any creator that primarily fixates on current events because it prefers anything in search or related videos that comes from priority creators. And trust me, if you have to ask, am I a priority creator? The answer is no. So anyway, there's a link in the description. The Democrats are fucking insane. Nancy Pelosi's might be more nuts than Joe Biden at this point. You remember that time she had that breakdown? She was giving a live little thing on the news, and all of a sudden she said good morning, Sunday morning, and she was like, it looked like she was having a mini stroke or something. She had another problem like this. Now, I think she was attempting humor. The problem is Nancy Pelosi is not a funny person. She's not an amusing individual. 10 years ago, she was at least reasonably well-spoken, but now I think she's 80 years old, or at least pushing it. And the cat's looking at the plants there. Those aren't salad, by the way, just so you're aware. You can go eat the cactus. That'll be funny. Then people will have an extra special video. Nancy Pelosi probably will at any moment because I think she might be developing some cognitive issues too, along with Beijing Biden. But she is like, here, we don't say open sesame in regards like economic relief or whatever. We say open Biden. Open Biden. And then she had that weird grin that she sometimes does, and I think it's a Botox grin. I'm assuming at her age she regularly gets poison injected into her face so that she doesn't slump. Imagine if she stops taking it. Imagine her face starts to sag down and she looks just like that droopy dog character from that one cartoon in the 60s and 70s that was so funny. Can't even remember what it was, Underdog or something. I don't think I'm thinking of Underdog. I think it was a different one. That's basically Nancy Pelosi, though. She's not very funny. Usually, she gets kind of mean. When you really think about it, Nancy Pelosi is more known for giving a fiery rant in a very self-righteous manner. Like one of her big moments there was when Trump was doing the State of the Union, and she stood up and she tore up the State of the Union speech, and people were doing their jazz hands. Yes, Queen Slay. Oh, she's such a maverick for women's rights and feminist liberation or some stupid shit like that. But literally, this takes the cake. This is more nuts than anything Biden's done recently. Just look at it again. Link in the description. You can see it for yourself and how nutty she appears. Nancy Pelosi's just, I guess, as out to lunch as Biden, but I think in more, let's get beyond the funny part of it into more intelligent analysis. The fact that the Democrats are led by someone who acts like this, who is number 1 unlikable, number 2 might be a little bit out of lunch, certainly is older, it is not a great sign for the Democratic Party. For the first time, I think, in a very, very long time, the Republicans, by and large, are younger than the Democrats right now. The Democrats keep clinging to people like Biden, he's pushing 80, Pelosi, Feinstein, who apparently allegedly has literal cognitive issues in the diagnosed sense. They keep clinging to these antiquated figures that are in their 70s and 80s, the very older generation. And it's just like an army of Strom Thurmonds at some point. The Republicans, meanwhile, have gravitated towards, at least in a limited fashion, a handful of much younger people. The party is in the hands of people by and large in their 60s, not people that are pushing 80 years old. This is a seismic shift within U.S. politics because even a couple of decades ago, who was the Republicans were the party of old people. They were the party of retirees and the boomer generation that already made their money and corporations, which typically are led by older people. The Democrats were seen as maybe nutty, maybe hippie-ish or something like that, like the hippie teacher in Beavis and Butthead. But they were seen as the party for younger people. They were the hip party. Part of this was celeb culture. You're seeing that begin to change now. Celeb culture is dying. It's being replaced by independent content creation because people have found out that it's more fun to try to be a celebrity than to watch celebrities in most cases. It doesn't matter if they have millions of fans. If they can scratch together a few thousand people that care what they say, they feel good about that. And it's almost like a drug, by the way, content creation. You get your fix and then you want more. This has led to suicides, by the way. Imagine why celebrities are so fucked up. As that has shifted because of the internet generation, and as the old money has started to support the neo-lib Democrats because, they've got a good thing going. They don't want to change the tax code. They don't want you having more wealth. They want all the wealth in the hands of their wealthy donors. The Republicans, as a populist movement now, at least since Trump, and to some extent the libertarian side of the party since Ron Paul, has really reformed things. It's totally different than the Republican Party of the Bush era. You see right now, in related news, speaking of the paradigm shift within U.S. politics, you see Donald Trump now sending a legal notice to the RNC not to use his name to fundraise or to sell merchandise. He's doing that because there are parts of the party that voted to impeach him. There are parts of the party that are they're from yesteryear. They're outdated. Mitt Romney, he's a 2010s Republican. He doesn't represent the face of the modern Republican Party. Trump does. Trump, and I would argue Rand Paul to an extent. Ted Cruz, maybe in a limited way, and certainly DeSantis, not really as much in populist form as states' rights, just limited government in general. Sort of like an actual conservative, like a Reaganite, almost. DeSantis is a rising star within the party. I think Greg Abbott, to an extent. His gambit, I think, will pay off. And then the Democrats are led by people like this, like Nancy Pelosi. She's fucking nuts. She doesn't know how to run a party, and the Democrats have a huge problem because they haven't learned from history, because she's crushed the Democratic Party twice before. Nancy Pelosi has been leading them for too long. She has no good new ideas. She's entirely self-serving, and that's the problem with Nancy Pelosi. Okay, have fun. Now, my co-host had to go and take a bathroom break or, go eat. Nancy Pelosi is one of the problems within the Democratic Party. She's one of the biggest problems within the Democratic Party because she's not a leader. Not a good one, anyway. Because she's so self-serving and surrounds herself with a small core of very rich dynastic yes-men, she doesn't care about the demographics of anyone else running for office. The DNC's fucked. That's about all. Peace out.